Good up.
This is Channel 253.
On this episode of the Grit and Grain podcast.
It was eye-opening. It was like, wow, this is what I want to do. Like, I don't care about IPA. Sorry, I said it.
Not as hot of a take as it used to be, man. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. But it's like lager beer, and especially German lager beer. Like, this is what I want to do with my life. This is where I want to be. I want to not obsess over it like I do, but
Yeah, I get the vibe.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you.
Welcome to the Grit and Grain podcast, where we explore and celebrate the craft beer industry, community, and history in Tacoma, Washington, and surrounding Pacific Northwest areas. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Grit and Grain podcast, coming to you guys from Peaks and Pints in Tacoma, Washington. So excited. My name is Matt McLaren. I'm here as always with Ron Swarner.
Well, hello.
How's it going, Ron?
I'm eager to learn what happens when a family opens a brewery inside a haunted city hall, teaches themselves decoction mashing, and then starts winning medals like they're collecting Pokemon.
You say decoction on purpose?
Decoction.
Damn it. Decoction. He meant decoction.
We knew.
Anyway, same Ron, same.
Yeah.
Our resident pro brewer and line cleaner, Bethany Carlson, is in the house. What's up, Bethany?
Hi.
How's it going?
Great, good. I'm been to Montana and back since the last podcast.
Oh, geez.
And it was awesome. Yeah.
Also,
really good
sweet
time.
coasters.
Oh, thanks. Oh, does anyone need a coaster? We just had them made.
Sweet Funkbusters coasters.
Thanks. Yep, trying to spread the word a little
This
bit more.
establishment cares.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect that.
It says, your
Shots
beer
fired.
tastes great because this establishment cares about clean draft lines. Funk-free guarantee.
Amazing.
If I put this under it.
There's the QR code to go to my website.
No.
Oh, darn it.
Oh, it should.
Doing the Lord's work as always. Super excited for this episode. I feel like this is like, I don't know, kind of overdue, especially since we had Pink Boots on. And I'm super pumped for a returning guest. But we're actually here today with Ross and Allie from Four Generals Brewing. What's up, guys?
Hello.
So if you guys remember, Allie was on for Pink Boots, and we had a chance to sit down and try a bunch of Four Generals stuff. We all gushed about the Goza, and then it went on to win a sweet medal from a pretty big deal beer fest to add along.
A little bit.
I know, right? Like the biggest deal. Of course, to add to their stack of medals they had previously. Super pumped, man. Ross, thanks so much for coming through, man.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a million things to get into, and I'm sure Ron has plenty of questions about your childhood and all that kind of stuff. But before we get into all that, what are you drinking, man?
I am drinking a Ronier.
Ronier.
While in Tacoma, why not?
World-class German beer brewer comes to Peaks and Pines to order a Rainier, man. Honestly, I like the whole industry is like, yeah, fuck yeah, bro. Like, very relatable.
Yep.
Everyone was like, first, are you serious?
Yeah.
And then, okay, yeah, all right.
I still get shit when people see me drinking Rainier. They're like, don't you like do this for a job? I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's Rainier. Like,
It's dependable.
yeah, exactly. It's always the same.
As long as tap lines are clean.
As long as the tap lines are clean or it's out of a can.
Yeah.
Allie, what are you drinking?
The Four Generals Altbier.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Fucking awesome. I think it's
Or, and I've got the IPL.
Do you?
Yep, Four Generals.
Well, yeah, shoot. Can you talk about this Altbier a little bit, man? This is fantastic, dude.
I'm glad to hear you like it. So we won silver at JBF for it, and then 2 weeks later we were in Dusseldorf and realized that it was not great. And I went, wow, let's revamp it again and get it to where we are now. So what do you want to know about it?
Well, shit, that's quite the fact. Yeah, 'cause here's...
Write that down.
That's quite the fact. So you guys won a medal.
Yep.
Like a pretty big deal medal, and then went basically to where Altbier comes from. If you're not familiar, it's a big popular like amber style, kind of, you know, one of the few styles that mixes between lager and ale from Dusseldorf. But you went to where it comes from, and you were like, shit, the stuff over here is hitting on a level that mine isn't.
Yep.
I need to figure out what's going on. What did you notice about their alt beers that your alt beer was missing?
So, okay, that's the best way to start this. Theirs was drier, hoppier, crisper. Ours was more traditional American style, hadn't been to Dusseldorf yet.
Okay.
So our theory with everything is we want our beer to be like the city you're going to be in. So Altbier from Dusseldorf, Kolsch from Köln, that sort of thing. So our goal is if you're in that city drinking our beer, it fits in. It's just the brewery down the road.
Sure.
And I hadn't been to Dusseldorf yet at that point.
Okay.
Obviously, I since have, and was able to dial it back in. Now, we're also trying to make modern German beer. We're not trying to go old BJCP standards. That's not what I'm aiming for.
Okay.
Winning medals is great, but I'm trying to make what you'd get over there right now, which is why it's so important to get over there often. And then when Pop can bring stuff back to try it as fresh as possible. You know, it sits on a boat and it's old and it's warm and it's cold and it's not great anymore.
Sure.
So
What breweries did you visit over there?
Yeah.
I have been to a lot of breweries over there.
Research, baby.
Which trip?
R&D.
Your last one.
Man, so the last one we flew into Frankfurt, went up to Köln, Dusseldorf, Goslar, Erfurt, and then down to Bamberg, Spalt,
Man.
München, Trier, Heidelberg. Oh, we popped into Austria for a second.
You did your research.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time in Franconia, a lot of time in Bayern. Those kind of every trip we've hit that area. So I haven't spent as much time in the north yet, and I'd like to do that more. Mom and Dad were stationed in Bitburg when he was in the Air Force, F-15 driver.
Sure.
And so they know that area really well. So we've been back there. Man, I've been back to Trier 5 times now.
Man.
Just south of Bitburg there.
Awesome. And you had alt beer at all those breweries?
No, Altbier's really only going to be found in Dusseldorf.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a
they
different
are, yeah, so you can get Pilsner, you can get Helles kind of throughout, you can get Hefeweizen usually throughout. Otherwise, it's going to be very regional
It's just
specific.
there. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't realize that.
Alt beer from one spot, Kolsch from one spot.
Yeah, I have had a Goza in Bamberg at a bottle shop, and they had one option, and it was,
Smoked?
no, that one wasn't. But it was definitely bottle damage. It had been on there a while because people in Bamberg go, oh, that's just select. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I've had that a million times. How does so you kind of made a distinction between aiming at like BJCP style guidelines and then aiming at the actual beer from the place that it's from.
Yep.
How do you feel like those pursuits differ?
So obviously we want our beer to be within the proper style to start with. So Nick, who does my R&D for me and helps me with my R&D, I should say. So he and I will sit down, we'll look at the style guidelines, and then we'll try to get as many of the beers either by going there or having Pop bring them back or whatever we need to do to get actual in our palates, and then develop the recipe from there and test batch it a few times before we take it to the big system. It's not that big, but so yeah, so we're really looking at what they're doing there, keeping the beer as a alt beer or as a Kolsch or whatever it is, but then how are they doing it? Not just what 20-year-old definitions are.
Sure. Lyra's like, yes. We talk to Lyra about this all the time because there is a really big difference between like contemporary like beers made in traditional areas, because as the times change, so do they, and whether or not you're falling in like specific number metrics versus whether or not you're making a very good beer that's like expressive in that category are two totally different things.
Certainly.
And there are brewers who are really numbers focused who can still make great beer, of course, but then there's brewers who are
You got to have the art and science.
you gotta have the art and the science. Absolutely.
Yep.
We didn't. If you guys don't remember, Ali is actually running sales for Four Generals.
Yes.
How's it going on the
It's
sales
great.
front?
Yes. Yeah. I
She
actually
sold most of the batch of Kolsch the other day, the day after we kegged it.
pre-sold
Nice.
most of the batch. Yeah. No, it's great. My grandfather and father are from Germany, so this is like the beer that I grew up knowing.
Yeah.
And it's been an excellent product to work with and sell.
For sure.
Because it's personable and relatable to me. This is the beer that I had my first sips of when I was a kid with my grandfather and my father, and it's really exceptional and really different to say like we import all of our ingredients meeting EU standards so that it is as close as you can get to an import beer, but brewed here
But
in
fresh.
the U.S.
Yeah.
It's fresh. because a lot of places will import their beer, and like Ross was saying, like they get hot, cold, and you lose a lot of that flavor and a lot of that, a lot of what you expect out of those beers from those different regions. So it's really refreshing for me to promote a product that's then focused so much on the Germanic style and the traditional Bavarian brews and what you expect when you do go to those regions. You know, our Helles is comparable to like a Hofbrau. It's going to be as crisp and light and what you expect when you see the Hofbrau handle, but again, it's not going to be having sat on a boat or a plane for a really long time, and it's going to be that fresh, what you will taste in those regions. So
and it's also our take on that Munchen style Helles. It's not supposed to be. None of our beers are supposed to be a copy of anyone.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be Four Generals' version of that style.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So if I understand, when you were in high school, you were drinking Four Generals?
I'm not that young. No. I'm just saying, like, my grandfather, his tradition was once you turned 18, he would take you to Germany and take you, like, on the Autobahn. He would take you to Oktoberfest, like, that kind of thing. So every single... Thanks, Grandpa. Unfortunately, he passed before I was able to turn 18 and go do that trip myself. But all of my cousins before me that went on that trip said it was exceptional. But he would bring home a bunch of beers with him from, he grew up in the Black Forest area, and would bring home beers that reminded him of home. And that's how I got to taste those German-style beers, is they, spent, a few hours on a plane, but it wasn't like those that came over on a boat.
Yeah, and we're sitting for months and months.
Yeah, but my family is very traditional European, and they like to take the mystery out of alcohol. So I was drinking beer and wine at a very young age.
That's a good way to put that.
Yeah. And I had no desire to do it when I was in high school and college, which, my dad's plan worked, so.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you were also just introduced to, like, great versions of all of this stuff, so when somebody was like, you want a Coors Light? You were like, fucking no.
No.
That's not appealing at all.
No.
Are you sure we're gonna beer bong it? No.
No.
Yeah, it's warm.
No. Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, I had previously worked for Logan Brewing and was very used to promoting the IPAs that Michael comes out with.
Sure.
But it was such an awesome switch to go from that to traditional Bavarian crafted beverages for me.
Yeah.
There's a real focus you can sell.
Yes. Yeah. And people love that. There's been a really positive response to seeing that there is a brewery that's as old as we are. We just had 9 years in July.
Which is amazing.
And still nobody knows of us.
Honestly, that's kind of like a funny thing. That's kind of would have been my next question is I still feel like you guys are, maybe just now getting your name out there in a way. Like, obviously you're winning big medals now, but you've always, you have awards from, a while back.
I think at Washington we've taken a medal every year.
Pretty much, yeah.
But we stopped doing wholesale in 18 because we couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And we were doing 90 barrels a year production for Lost Woods Brewing out in Enumclaw.
Okay. Sure.
So I had some sweet wholesale, just easy peasy.
Yeah.
And then the rest was in tap room. That was great.
Right.
And then they got their new brewery, and then they shut down. But then the pandemic hit, and things changed. So we had to go, how do we change this around and keep the brewery going?
Sure.
Because Renton is... Love Renton dearly. It is still depressed down there.
Sure.
It has not come back to what it was. And that's not just us. It's everyone in the downtown area. We're all feeling it. I talked to Shelby at Odd Otter. I talked to Volition. They're like, we're popping. This is great. I'm like, well, that'd be nice. But
yeah.
So it's like, all right, what do we do? Well, wholesale, let's get our name back out there and start, getting out in the world again.
That's great. Luke Loss was the first person to ever bring me one of your guys' beers.
Oh, okay.
And we had it at his old tap room in Bonnie Lake, and it was fucking awesome. But I had it was the first time I had ever heard of you guys outside of I think it was the first time. And then I started seeing your guys' name again every year on Washington Beer Awards and all this stuff. And I don't know, it's funny that you guys are almost a decade old now and have been pursuing really world-class stuff. I think it's easy to say world-class at this point.
Yeah.
And now you have the job of introducing everybody to this great beer. How has it been kind of introducing everybody to Four Generals through all of this?
Well, like Ross had mentioned, I think pre-pandemic, the market was very different. You could load up your truck, go to your accounts, and be like, "Hey, I've got a half of this. Do you want it?" And they would be like, "Absolutely, I do." Now we're seeing smaller orders, quicker turnaround. People want to, get beer in and out because people want variety. That's what they're looking for. And I had said, like, people are still really excited to hear that there is a traditional Bavarian crafted beer in the Seattle area. You have a lot of breweries that do Pilsners, that do Belgian Blondes, that do, other things that we do.
But we don't do Belgian blondes.
We don't do Belgian Blondes. I
but
know,
like
I know.
historical European
But I'm just saying, like,
styles, yeah.
yes, there are those that have the historical European styles that we're kind of up against. But I think the difference is the quality of the ingredients.
Sure.
You are getting those ingredients from those regions. Our Spelter Pilsner has those Spelt region those hops. It has the ingredients that a lot of people don't use.
Sure.
Some people look for hyper local, hyper close, which is fine. Those beers are excellent examples of the local and close by ingredients. And I think Ross's beer and his work is an incredible example of the beers that you will get in those different spots in Germany.
Sure.
So it's been good. There's been a little bit of pushback. The market has changed even in the last 5 years that I've been doing this, as far as ease of ordering, distribution, all that sort of stuff.
Sure.
But I think I remember when I had my first interview with Mary, we were talking about how if the system is providing errors, let's change the system so that it's easier for the people.
Yeah.
And we are making changes that are making it easier for us to operate that way.
Cool.
And we're getting up there. It's been a slow growth, but a growth nonetheless.
Curve for us all.
Yes.
So slowly learning,
Yes.
slowly adapting.
Yeah.
Slow's better than too fast and shutting down.
Exactly. Or not being able to keep up with
And if
Yeah.
we'd gone
quantity.
too fast, we would have been shut down.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
Do you find it that Joint Base comes in and looking for somebody to salute? It's Four Generals. I mean, nobody knows.
All day with this fucking guy.
I mean, Four Generals, that's the first thing you think. You don't think of the four ingredients.
So in the tap
Yes.
room, we've got a
Yeah.
big
Explain the name.
mural.
Yeah.
And it says water, malt, hops, and yeast underneath it. And
Yeah.
every time someone makes that joke, I just point at the mural.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Go,
Yeah.
water, malt, hops,
You
and
got
yeast.
to move that mural to Joint Base Lewis McCord.
I've always wondered where the name came from.
Yeah.
No, it was just supposed to be a play on words.
Yeah.
And I realized what the military stuff, nothing against the military, Pop served, may have done something different. I didn't think about that back in 2013 when we became a company. I just said, hey, that's a good play on words. Here we go.
Yeah.
What were you doing before that, Ross?
So I have a degree in auto collision with a focus on restoration. I specialize in 67 through 78 Mopar muscle cars and did high-end restoration on that up until the point where my boss sat me down one day and said, you're not fired, I'm not getting rid of you, but in my opinion, it's going to take you 10 more years to get to a point where you're fast enough to do it and make a living at it. You can do the quality, you just don't have the speed, which that would have been a while ago now. So I may be making more money than I am at this point. But so he's like, I'm not firing you though, you're welcome to stay. But if you want to do something else, think about it. And so
Pass it down.
I decided let's take this brewing thing I've been doing and maybe make that bigger.
So you had been home brewing?
Yes. Yeah, I'd been homebrewing, and the beer was getting better and better. I mean, it was average homebrew, I'm sure, but getting better and better. And that's when Mom and Dad stepped in, and they're like, "Hey, if we're going to do this, let's do it the right way."
Sure.
I was trying to do a
send it.
garage-based brewery. I mentioned we became a company in 2013. So after the government shut down, I had a buddy named Sean that he and I started Four Generals Brewing. And we were going to do a garage-based brewery, and it was going to be at his house. And he bought this house that was in this little unincorporated area between Seattle and Renton, and it was this whole thing. And he ended up getting cold feet when I kept dragging bigger and bigger equipment home. And he's like, I thought we were just doing this little weekend thing. I'm like, well, yeah, but if I can brew, 50 gallons instead of 20 gallons, it'll be better. And he's like,
We'll save 30 cents on malt.
Exactly.
You don't get it, man.
So, that's when Mom and Dad stepped in, and Mom was like, all right, if we're going to do this, we're going to quit our jobs, and we're going to open a place in a downtown area. And I lived in Renton, so it made sense. And we're going to make it so a single person, single lady, single guy, whatever, can walk in, feel comfortable, get a beer, and make it like Renton's living room. So that's what we went for.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And if they're bad, they go to jail.
We do have the jail cells.
We do
so.
have the jail cells.
The 86 cell.
Yes, so we are in the original Renton City Hall. Not the original
nice.
building. It's the second building on the same location, built
Yeah.
100 years ago now.
Yeah.
And the original jail door for the women's side, we actually had to move it back a little bit for ADA compliance, but that's our office, Mom's office, and where we store some of our grain. And then that access gives us access to the cold room, the cooler, which is the men's jail cell as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Love that.
So when Allie's misbehaving, cooler, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I get fired on a weekly basis, so that's not news to me.
We have an employee that we fire pretty much weekly, too. He's been with us like 11 years.
Yeah.
But you don't have a cellar to put them in.
That would be really nice,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Whole
We're not that
metal
far from-
iron
yeah.
door. Yeah.
This Kolsch is delicious.
Yeah. So we're all pouring Kolsch right now.
And unfortunately, it's not even the best batch we've ever done.
Oh my God.
Or the right glassware.
Or that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, where are your Ristal glasses?
I'm sorry. I can mark your coaster if you want me to.
So did you have the same, did you find yourself like struggling with the same thing on the Kolsch? Did you get to a point where you were happy with it, got to Cologne, or maybe your pops brought some back and then you were like, fuck, I need to go back to the drawing board a little bit on this?
Awesome to know we can swear on the podcast. Thank you.
Oh. Have I not been doing that this whole time? I feel like I do it every 30
You
seconds.
haven't.
Usually that's his lead.
Yeah.
He was waiting for it. Ross was just like, fuck yeah!
Yeah, dude.
So on the Kolsch, I don't know if we struggled with it before we released it because we try to do R&D, proper R&D before. So Pop brought back 14, 15 from a trip to Cologne because he goes to Cologne all the time. Brought back a whole bunch, was like, here you guys go, make this happen. We're like, all right, well, let's see what we can do. Drank a bunch, took a bunch of notes, brewed a whole bunch of batches, went, yeah, yes, no. And I should mention, Nick's got a 1-barrel, fully jacketed system. So it's just a 1/3 size smaller than what we're brewing on at the brewery. So we went through a whole bunch of iterations and got it to the point where we're like, okay, now we figured out what we need to do. We're getting close. I mean, a whole bunch, probably 5 or 6, but getting close and dialed it in from there. And then we made that beer for 3 or 4 years. And then, so every year we try to do a big capital improvement and knowledge project. And so 2 years ago, so we've always had RO water system, but 2 years ago was, all right, let's build it even better, the water, to where we have 5 or 6 different water profiles we use now instead of just our one blanket Munchen style water profile.
Nice.
So this is kind of
so
that final,
important.
final iteration. So we've always had the RO water, which was great because we're on 3 aquifers, 2 of which are consistent, 1 of which is within specification year round.
Man.
So the RO water just gave us a really good place to learn how to build a business, learn how to brew beer, all those things. I didn't have to think about it. And then it came to the point where it's like, all right, this is what we're going to do this year is really dive into water.
Yeah.
And so Nick and I dove into water, read John Palmer's book again.
was
Made
gonna
a
say,
lot
did
more
you
sense
read
that
it?
time.
Did you read that?
Oh, yeah.
It's big.
Yeah.
Dude, the fucking water book. I hated
water
that book
book.
so much.
I didn't read it.
Oh my God.
I read the other one.
I feel like I needed a fucking PhD to get through that goddamn book.
The first time I read it, I didn't understand anything.
Yeah.
I went and saw John Palmer's speech in 13, 12, somewhere around there. Didn't understand anything. Then I saw John again in 21, I want to say. And I was like, oh, this makes a lot more sense now. And I was able to read the book again at that point. But that was, having 10 years of home brewing and pro brewing experience at that point.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you're not, we've probably said RO water on this podcast many times. Yeah. Reverse osmosis water is essentially starting with a blank slate on your water. So if you're using like your city's water or well water, there's going to be like a certain amount of like minerals in different like concentrations. You can get those things lab tested and figure out like what, and you should. Ward Labs, shout out, really good resource. So we've talked about like Tacoma's water being super soft, very similar to like Pilsen. It's why a lot of brewers in like the Washington area can like, make really good beer just with the water that they have from their municipality. But if you're, like you said, if you're trying to brew a beer that's really distinct to the area that it comes from, water is a huge portion of that. And so if you're trying to match that, you need to start with a blank slate, RO water, and then you need to customize the mineral profile of the water to match the region that you're trying to mimic the beer from.
Yeah.
Am I
Water
off base?
Okay,
No, perfect.
You're right on.
So when we're talking about the book, so there's a book, there's a series of books called The Elements of Composition, hops, yeast, malt, and water. And water is infamously difficult to read. If you do not have a fucking biochemistry degree, it feels impossible. It's all, every compound, every trace mineral, everything that comes into water, and how it affects the compounds in your beer. Almost kind of a little bit about beer, like it's mostly just about water. It's very hard to read. That's why I'm complaining.
And your water composition can take your beer from like good to great. You
Yes.
might have a good beer, but if your water composition is off,
And that's exactly what happened for us when we did the Goza. We started winning medals with it because we just did the water tweaks.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
It was already great before, but
Yeah.
Right.
Did you fuck with water, Bethany, when you were brewing?
A little.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Not too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't really need
I had
to
like a
that
basic.
much.
Yeah, I just have my basic formula
Yeah.
mostly.
Casey at Top Rung says Lacey's perfect for water.
Yeah, dude.
He doesn't mess around with it much.
Yeah. I mean, Chuck and Nut,
Yeah.
very famously, only uses their municipality's water. They don't build anything. They've had a lot of years to develop like the technique to get around that kind of sort of thing. But I think if you're really trying to like mimic like regionally expressive styles the way you guys do, you have to do RO and you have to customize your water.
well, and our water was great. We made a lot of really good beer, took a lot of awards. It was just that next step.
Yeah.
It's the next level. Yeah.
For animals.
So important. Well, I can't believe it's already break time. We could do this for so long, Ross. I want to talk more about water compounds. All right, we're going to take a super quick break, pour fresh beer, and actually, Allie's going to tag out and tag in a third secret guest. So we'll be right back.
Greetings, listeners. Thank you for listening to yet another Channel 253 Podcast Network episode.
This episode is only able to happen thanks to the listeners who have supported Channel 253 with a membership of $4 a month or $40 a year. They help keep the microphones running. And if you appreciate what I really think is like a public service to the people of Tacoma, I hope you will support what we're doing.
Especially at this time when there's a mayoral race in Tacoma, and we're trying to cover that, as well as all the other things that we cover: food, beer,
politics, moving to Tacoma, just the interesting people around town. We've got a lot to check out. So if you like what we're doing, visit channel253.com/membership. And thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out during the break. As always, a shout out to Doug, our wonderful producer who makes us sound awesome every single week.
Thanks, Doug.
Yay, Doug! We love you. And to Chris, who puts us on video every single week. If you guys haven't yet, please do go to YouTube, check out Great and Grain Podcast, and follow along. You can pretend you're sitting right here and getting shwasted with all these very lovely people. Shwasted. Yeah. On really high quality, regionally expressive German beer. So you guys heard for the first half, Ross mentioned a couple times that his parents were a big chunk of this. So secret bonus guests for the second half, Mary and Mike, also from Four Generals. Welcome.
Technically, we have 4 generals.
I know. If you include Allie, this is the Four Generals right here. Allie's water.
Complex.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us for the second half. This is awesome. And I feel like, like Ross mentioned, like you guys were a huge part of this from the very beginning and kind of had the idea for how to approach starting a brewery. How has it been for you guys to be a part of this since the beginning?
I tell people I have the best job in the world because I get to work with my family.
That's
And Ross and I, he may kick me for this, but we've said more than once, we are the same person. So it really works well. There have been so many times when one of us has an idea and calls the other one up totally out of the blue, and the other person will say, hey, I was just thinking about, what if? And it's the same thing. So it's been really good. My husband, Mike, who's here, is a FedEx pilot, so he travels the world, so he's gone. And it's really nice that I've got something that works with me and have learned and grown with it. I have a weird background, so, you know, what kind of a job am I doing now? So I've learned how to be a manager and run a business.
That's awesome.
And for me, it's kind of fun to sit back and see it all develop. At the beginning, I actually have a degree in chemistry as well as being a pilot. So Ross threw me the water book, and I actually read it and understood a lot of it.
Wow, we've got a badass over here.
He asked me
Years
early
before
on.
I ever did.
You know, he was saying, I think we need a reverse osmosis system. And I said, yes, we do. So that wasn't a hard sell for me, at least, after reading the water book. The rest of the books, the hops and the grain, and it was like, don't know anything about this. So I knew nothing about brewing beforehand, except I knew I liked Ross's beer.
Sure.
And we knew that he was going to be successful, and we wanted to get behind him, and it's been a great ride.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. Good support.
I know,
Lovely
seriously. What a
support.
lovely support system.
Yeah.
So you guys neither of you were like big beer folks prior to this, or like, did you already have a taste? I mean, you traveled the world. Like, did you guys already have a taste for good beer?
So I didn't like beer, couldn't stand beer, got married to this guy, moved to Germany. And when I was there, it's like, oh, this is what beer tastes like.
Yeah.
Okay, because, you know, we got married back in the 80s, so the beer here wasn't great. We eventually moved back to the area, and it's like, okay, there's a couple beers I can find that I like, but I wasn't really a big fan of the commercial U.S. beer.
Sure.
So finding beers that I liked again was really fun, and then having him start to make beers that I liked is even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
It didn't hurt that I was stationed at Bitburg Air Base, right outside the Bitburger Brewery.
Yeah, we
They
do it.
sponsored a lot of stuff, so I kind of grew up with Bitburger beer right there, and it's amazing the difference. And of course, we went to Oktoberfest in Munich and got to experience that. But all the different beer festivals and going around at the different places in Germany, it really opened up our eyes. Because I knew nothing about beer, and especially good beer, and we learned quite a bit. So that's one of the reasons we took Ross back to Germany and on a trip, and about the third day he went, started writing down notes. I need to do this. And
Nice.
by the time we were on the airplane back, I think he already had 4 or 5 recipes going in his mind, going, we need to brew this stuff. This is really good.
Man, that's awesome.
Ross, that's like every brewer's dream is like, you know, to go over somewhere and be like, hey, just pick out what you want to brew and just like pick out what beers you love and let's come up with recipes and like how fun to
It really is.
go through that. Yeah.
And it was awesome. We did the 2017 Pink Boots trip because Mom was a Pink Boots member. And it was a bunch of Pink Boots people and then us.
Yeah.
And, well, you counted
There were 13 people on the tour, 11 women, and these 2 jokers.
Like, what are
Fucking
these guys
cramping
doing
everybody's
here?
style.
Yeah.
Basically, they're like, who are you? I'm like,
They try to ditch him behind. They're like, we're going to this bar. And then they,
I was like, don't worry, guys. I'm married. I'm going to hang out with the other 2 married people. We're going to have a lot of fun. I would try to, give them their space, the other ones. But yeah, it was eye-opening. It was like, wow, this is what I want to do. Like, I don't care about IPA. Sorry, I said it.
Not as hot of a take as it used to be, man. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. But it's like lager beer, and especially German lager beer. Like, this is what I fucking want to do with my life. This is where I want to be. I want to not obsess over it like I do, but yeah.
Yeah, I get the vibe.
Yeah, and there was a few beers that he'd had that he is just like, okay, this is there's like 3 or 4 beers I can think of.
So the
that are
Spalter Pilsner
real-
is a direct base on their Spalter Fresh Hop, and I go, I want this in my life every single day.
Yeah.
And their Town of Spalt, their Fresh Hop, that was one of the best beers I've ever had in my life. Their regular Pilsner is also top 10, but yeah.
Yeah, we were there for Fresh Hop release day, and we were part of the tour the parade that went through town, and they had the beer on the back of the wagon, and they delivered it to restaurants and gave us schnapps in return, which
So many
I thought was
schnapps.
a great deal.
Sweet.
And
Best barter system ever.
then we got to like the main square, and they tapped the other kegs and just started handing out glasses, and then we were all invited to the brewery that night for the big city party, and it was amazing.
Also, Spalt, one of the best towns you ever go to. Mary says, don't go there because it's a little tiny town. I'm like, everyone should go to Spalt.
Don't ruin it.
Just don't expect to spend days there.
Sure.
Spend weeks. Months.
Was there a line in like you said there was kind of like an eye-opening experience visiting Germany? Were you brewing other things prior to that, or were you
Yeah,
kinda
so we
just-
were typical Northwest microbrewery. We had pails, we had IPAs, we had a hef.
Cascadian Dark Ale.
Yeah, sure.
Bitter, one gold.
Yeah.
Well, that one, yeah.
Yeah, in the state. Milk Stout.
Yeah, so,
Dang,
typical
yeah, you guys were
stuff.
very American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really was the October 17 trip that was just like,
Wow.
this.
You're like, this is it.
Yeah.
Man. And so you've just been in the pursuit of like perfection in this
Yep.
style ever since.
Yep.
That's fucking
Now, I will say
awesome.
the play on words for the name, that did come from the purity law. That was back in 13, we came up with that. And
Sure.
Yeah, but didn't realize I was going to do German beer.
Yeah, and you were like, well, this actually fits perfectly
This is
with
in
German
milk
purity. Yeah. Yeah. No more milk stout after. Are you dedicated German purity law? Is that
So-
like a part of it, or is it just kind of ingrained naturally?
So yes and no. I've talked to plenty of German brewers. They're just like, we follow the purity law. Wink, wink. And you go,
Sweet.
What's that mean? They're like, well, we're not idiots. We're very scientific, pragmatic people. We know what forced carbonation is. We know what all these other things are. You're not detracting from the purity law when you do that.
Right.
But we can say that we're purity law. Wink, wink. So what do I do differently? I force carbonate. Can't technically do that. I force oxygenate. Can't technically do that.
Right.
I put my water additions in the mash versus in the HLT, which is a big distinction.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that's because I have a garbage system that was a Stout Tanks and Kettles 2010 ale brewery 2-vessel piece of garbage. Anyway, I love my system. Thanks, guys. But no, so for
Thanks,
me,
Mom.
I didn't order it.
but because we do hot quartz mashing, so it's temperature step mashing, we don't do decoction. I can't do it on my system.
It's decoctation. Kidding. Actually.
I stand corrected. So anyway, we can do hot carts, which we do for pretty much everything we do. But because of that, I can't put my water additions in the water. I have to put them in the mash. Wow. So just little things like that make it so we're not technically purity law compliant, but it is 100% German malt. It is 100% German hops. It is RO water treated to German specifications for that area.
Yeah.
It is German yeast strains, except for the Altbier, which is actually American ale too, because that has that nice fruitiness that plays really well with that style.
Nice.
But
That makes total sense.
yeah.
I didn't know dosing the hot liquor tank was part of the law.
So you can have your water be a certain way, but you can't adjust the beer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have a copper chain in the boil kettle, which most people don't. Because we're crazy.
So just little. It's still so German purity. Wink, wink.
Yeah, and it's honestly to the level that most German brewers I've talked with do to the level of. They just won't ever admit it,
Sure.
and I'll sit here and admit it.
And when we were there and visiting in 2017 and talked to different brewers, it was quite interesting because some of them were very adamant. And it wasn't, I thought it might be an age thing that the older generation are like, no, we have to comply.
Yeah.
It wasn't. There were some younger people that really were adamant. There were some older people that were like, yeah, whatever. It was interesting. There was one brewery we went to that had things that were obviously not following the purity law. We said, okay, how do you do this? And they said, well, we have a brewery in Austria and we just import it.
Yep.
Oh wow. Which I feel like is probably not uncommon. Like if you.
Oh, I've ran into a bunch of people that.
Yeah. If you're trying to appeal to like, especially contemporary palates, and you need to follow these certain rules, we'll just make it where we don't need to follow those rules and bring it over here.
Exactly. And this was a brewery that in their tap room had probably 15, 16 beers on tap, which is very unusual for Germany.
Sure.
They usually have, 2 to 3 max.
Over here, that's light work, man.
Yeah, right. Do you brew a German barley wine?
Nope.
Speaking of barley wine, I'm sorry, Ron.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. I got right into questions. I'm sorry. Mary has real wine, not barley
I
wine.
do. I have real wine.
So we do a Weihnachtsbock though, so a big wintertime lager.
Pretty close.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But
We're drinking Bigfoot this year.
We are.
This year's Bigfoot, I mean.
Yeah. Cheers to Sean.
Cheers to Sean.
Yum.
Well, I think there's goes on the table somewhere.
That one. Yep.
Can I have that?
Yes.
Thank you so much. For anybody who doesn't follow along, this beer just took a top 3 medal at the World Beer Cup.
it was the first loser.
First loser. Your hat is awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
But as I've told them, it's the best in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, the other one was in Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which also is
That's
kind of
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Love that for Brazil. That's amazing. Like, what an insane honor. And we, of course, texted Doug immediately because he's been gushing about it since we tried it on the Pink Boots episode. We're like, fuck, Doug, you have really good taste. This beer is, exceptional. This is,
Thank you.
One of the most picture-perfect gozas that I can remember. Yeah, of course. Sorry, I'm not passing it around.
You're drinking past
Maybe if I just talk through it, you guys will let me drink all of
You should
it.
lose over there.
Well, I can drink it anytime I want.
So, how long have you guys been making this one?
So the Goza, I think the first one I had was in Bamberg in 17. I was in a bottle shop with Annabelle and Tracy, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I've heard of these, but I've never actually had one. Let's try one. And did, and the bottle was old because Bamberg says, well, Goza, we make better beer in Bamberg. They do, but anyway, so that was when I first had it. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm putting my noggin. And then I tried, 5 or 6 times to make one and had varying results.
Yeah.
The commercial lactobacillus pitches that I was able to get were expensive and 50% success rate. I get baby diaper and other off flavors and go, what is going on? I remember
what a nightmare.
I remember one that was all ropey, and so you could take your spoon and just it was bad.
That's so nasty.
Down the drain, of course. And then I had a buddy of mine who was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing the Good Belly yogurt thing? And I was like, well, okay, but Good Belly's not local, and I do like to do local if I'm not doing German. So when we did the Mexican lagers, it was all Scotch Valley malt and trying to keep it in the tradition of when they came over to Mexico and did that. So I was like, well, what about Elenos? They're, probiotic yogurt. And so we got Elenos yogurt, and every single time it has been consistent. Their lab person over there is
so
nailing
insane.
it. Yeah, it's been consistent. Oh, yeah, and it's $60 versus
Yes.
500.
Yeah. That's so sick.
It's really good.
Yeah, so we actually, after we won, we had the president Elenos and then the head
Marketing.
and someone else came down, and we shook hands, took photos, and
No
they tried the beer.
way.
and
Yeah,
whatnot.
it was really cool.
Awesome.
That's so cool. I love that they're just aware that you guys are making award-winning beer using their
It's because
cultures.
I said, hey guys.
Hey, just so you know.
Yeah, we let our salt person know too.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
That's amazing. I feel like we should explain sour mashing or why are you putting yogurt in your beer, Russ?
So the way we do it is a 90. I'm sorry, let me think about this Fahrenheit here. 95 Fahrenheit. Yeah, I speak in Celsius, so I'm trying to convert back for the people. So it's a 95 degrees for 48 hours, and that the lactobacillus and yogurt will then go and eat a bunch of sugars and sour the beer. And I also pre-sour it with citric acid. To get our desired pH, and then we boil it. So it's a clean beer after that. We don't let it continue aging with lacto in there. It becomes a clean beer with hops and hops and all the other normal things.
Sure.
And then we water it back. So we actually do a double strength mash because our boil kettle is tiny and garbage. And so all of our tanks are either double or triple size. So I just do a double, like a 18, 19 Play-Doh mash, and then water it back to 9.5.
Yeah. Damn.
With
You
our
say you're
water.
on a 3-barrel?
It was sold as a 3. It's technically a 4 hecto, and now they call it a 3.5 barrel. So yes,
Yes-ish.
yes. It's there was one day I was like, wait a second, this thing's a 4 hectoliter. I get what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't always compute.
No.
It should. No. Yeah.
So
By the way, when we mentioned baby diaper, I feel like that's an unusual flavor for people. If you have inconsistent sour cultures, and you're trying to make something like a goza or any kind of sour that you might throw a culture into, if there's a really specific type of bacteria, Clostridium, a really specific version of it, that creates like butyric acid, which smells like baby diapers or vomit or
And
other
it's
things.
nasty.
It's absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
I've had one beer that like really had an issue with it ever. Like it's a pretty like unusual thing. Most people will just dump the beer when it does that.
So I dumped that batch, and then I was out in Seattle somewhere, I don't recall where, and I got a beer that had that. I'm like, oh, I know where you guys got that.
Yep.
Oh, why'd you?
No. This was the initiation beer at my
Did you
job that
taste
I'm at. Yeah, it was the initiation beer at the job that I was at. We had somebody quit the day that we tried.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Somebody who still works in the industry.
What do you mean? You found a beer that was
No, so we
faulty?
had a beer that was like really, really like tons of inoculation, tons of like Clostridium, so lots of butyric acid.
Yeah.
So when you opened it, the room smelled like actual vomit.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're the type who like can't deal with that, it's just immediate dry heaving. And so yeah, there was a 500 ml bottle of this. It was called, I don't want to say what it was called because you'll be able to find out who brewed it. It's not a brewery that's around anymore, but it is a brewer who's still making beer. But yeah.
Oh man!
I know.
Now I need to know.
But it was a ghost. It was a ghost. And yeah, tons of
There wasn't enough
vomity
key
gross
lime
things.
to
Yeah, exactly.
Join our Patreon.
Bonus episode.
Yeah. Join Patreon for the tea.
So, Matt, I was telling you a story earlier.
Yeah.
You know, as a pilot go around the world, I've tried Goza in a lot of different places. A few years ago, we actually took the people of the brewery over to Germany, and we went to Goslar, and we tried Goza from the source. And then Mary and I were in Germany a year ago for a reunion for my squadron. And we said we need to go to Leipzig and try Gozas there.
Nice.
And it was interesting the difference between Leipzig and Goza, or Goslar, and the Gozas there. But we wanted to see how our Gozas compared to the originals. So Mary sent me into the bottle shop to get a couple of bottles of Goza. And Mary's German is much better than mine, but I speak a little bit. I went in and talked to the gal behind the counter and said, I'd like 2 bottles of this Goza from a brewery that has won lots of awards.
Sure.
And well known. And she pulled them out and happily put them on the counter and was checking me out. She looked at me and said, you understand these are not traditional lagers. And I said, yeah, I own a brewery in Seattle. We make Goza. This is for research. Oh, she was very happy.
Eases up a little bit.
Yeah. It's amazing.
This isn't a milk stout, man. You sound pretty American, bro.
But Mary and I went to a restaurant later that night, and we ordered the Goza from the people, and we noticed that not a lot of people were drinking it.
Yeah.
And the waiter kind of looked at us and went, tourists, do you know what you're actually ordering?
Yeah.
He brought out a couple of Gozas. We tried it, went, oh, this is excellent. And he went, oh, okay.
That's awesome.
You guys pass.
Yeah, you passed.
You guys are cool.
Yeah, you passed.
But the cool thing is we brought those bottles back, and we did a blind taste test and went, okay, our Goza could be right from here.
That's excellent.
So
Gosh,
that's what we're
excellent.
shooting for. As Ross indicated earlier, we want our beer to be, if you took it over to Bamberg or you took it to Krun, Dusseldorf, or Leipzig, you could be drinking from a local brewery.
Yeah, and nobody would be able to tell,
Yeah.
off rip that it was like somebody, an American brewer making this
Exactly.
in their own.
And
yeah.
that's our goal. And
Yeah. There
you go.
Dude, that's a great goal. Also, super nice you have access to those beers regularly that are fresh.
It is indeed. Now he's retiring here in a couple months, so I guess I'll just.
Fuck,
have
what are
to
you
go
going to do?
over
Yeah, you're going to have to go.
Yep.
More trips.
Yeah.
See,
My
we
wife-
will get in on it more as opposed to just him.
Yeah. My wife is like, so we haven't been here. We haven't been here. I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
Take the kiddo and let's do it.
That's awesome. Oh, man. I'm chugging more.
I haven't even had my
Bigfoot,
stoop
sorry.
yet.
I know it's funny being from like Washington, especially because like Goza here has kind of a unique pedigree because Rubens early on made such a good version of it when Nestle got there, and then won 2 GABF medals back to back for that. So like around here, I feel like it's much more like in the conversation for a lot of like casual beer drinkers, but there's a lot of folks who have never heard of it, have no clue what it was. We just made we made a Goza this year with Silver City. with a local nonprofit focused on like water health. It's Communities for a Healthy Bay, and we were like introducing people to a goza for the very first time. But we used like San Juan sea salt. It was very non-traditional, locally harvested like lemon balm versus like coriander or like other spices or herbs. But yeah, most people are like, I have no clue what this is. I've never had a sour beer. I'm more a cider drinker. And then you're like, well, actually, you might kind of like this. Like, or I'm more of a white wine drinker. Well, actually, you might kind of like this. And then it ends up being like a really cool bridge for non-beer drinkers. Like, it's super approachable. It doesn't taste like a normal beer, but it is like one of the most historic, it's like one of the most traditional beers you can make. They've been making this style for like 500 years.
Yeah. So if you're doing a shout out there, I also want to do a shout out to Alaska Pure Sea Salt because that's who we use.
Oh, cool.
And it's amazing out of Sitka, Alaska.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I had no clue. Actually, Chris and I were talking about this, like how much San Juan sea salt like tastes like the actual Puget Sound out here. Like our whole goal was like our whole goal was like if we're gonna make a beer that like we want to make a beer that evokes like standing on like a beach and breathing in the air, and like a goes would totally do that. It's like spiced and briny and like has this great kind of like character like that. It's very refreshing, and yeah, man, it smells exactly like the water because of San Juan sea salt. It's so good. All right, we probably didn't prep you. However, if you happen to have any fuck-up stories...
All right, Grit and Grainers, I'm Sean Jackson, and I fuck up all the God-blessed time, as we all do. So, please do regale us with your fuck-up stories.
Well,
Either from your
how
travels
about,
or
how about today?
Today?
Oh, fuck, what happened today?
Wow.
You said you had an interesting
That might be
day.
a first.
Yeah, you were asking earlier how my day was. It's like, well.
So I was totally going to bring you guys fest beer today because, fest beer is kind of a German thing.
We're
and
also on that season pretty soon.
we're
definitely out now.
coming up. And I did not bring you fest beer because my brewery control system computer does not like to keep calibration all the time, and I'll go for months at a time with great calibration, and then some days, nope.
Oh, shit.
So anyway, we froze our fest beer. And I didn't really want to bring iced tea cocktail.
I was going to say, yeah,
beer
that's
with me.
ice.
So
block
it's
now?
I realized really quickly. So we've got 99% of the batch still in the tank. We were starting to package it. So 2 days from now we'll package it. It'll be fine.
Yep.
But anyway.
So you have frozen fest
So
beer?
we have frozen fest beer.
New style.
Yeah.
I was
Slushy fest beer.
I was running the bottle machine like, why is this working so well? Oh crap! I know exactly what happened.
Oh, no.
But our glycol sucks. And when we built it all 10 years ago, it was all hand-me-downs and cobbled together, and so it's running in the summertime. It runs extra. And I have to have it lower if I want to crash anything. And because we have Allie selling our beer for us now, I have to keep all the tanks full, which is great. But as a lager brewery, they have to be full and cold all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And so having 6 tanks, 54 barrels of cold side going all the time, our little tiny glycol that we can't replace because we don't have 3-phase power and a whole bunch of other reasons is going,
Yeah.
So I had it set colder. And because the temperature on the computer was not set right, it said it was 1 degree, and it was really -3.
Shit. Yep, that's frozen.
Celsius.
Celsius. Yeah.
Yeah, Celsius.
Brutal.
So that
I'm
was
so
fun.
sorry to hear that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We'll package it Friday.
Nice.
It'll be fine. But
And it'll be ready for your guys' Oktoberfest.
yes, and that's the first out of 2 batches. So
When is your Oktoberfest?
September 20th at the 229 Wells Renton location.
Sweet.
From
What
noon to 8.
happens at your Oktoberfest?
Lots of great beer consumed, and we'll let the imagination take the rest.
All right.
No, we'll have food trucks. We'll have
Truck. You guys have music going on.
we'll have
Music,
some
yeah.
music going on.
Every year.
So we pre-pandemic we're starting to. Pandemic hit, we didn't, and then we did it last year. The tap room got packed out. We're like, oh, people want to do this. Cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So this year we're taking over 4 or 5 parking spots in front of us and putting up.
Sweet.
If there's a place, it's yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to, if you're listening, like make a plan, man. September 20th, be at Four Generals. 'cause
Yeah,
that's-
come on up.
Yeah.
Dude, if
Free
you
entry,
want,
all ages.
yeah. It's
Nice.
it's a brewery that makes world-class beer that is literally celebrated during Oktoberfest. This is the spot to do it.
Yep, we don't do fresh hop. We do Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
And we do a modern fest beer. None of that Märzen American stuff. It's like what you would get in München right now.
I appreciate the throwing shade at everybody making Amber Fest beer.
Nine Danke.
You fucking weebs making Amber Fest beer. Should be pale, 6.5%. What the fuck?
And that's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
We literally have a regular that goes to Germany every year for Oktoberfest, and he's like, I like yours better than anywhere any other place.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
All right, Grit and Grainers, email us at cheers@gritandgrainpodcast.com with your comments, opinions, and malt-fueled dreams of building a barley sauna in your back. Wait a minute, that's last week's.
There you are. Oh, one more bit.
All right, Grit and Grainers. Email us at cheers@gritandgrainpodcast.com with your comments, questions, and general comparisons, such as the one general who wants your deductible from behind pixelated sunglasses, riding shotgun in a cartoon Dodge Charger, promising cut rate car insurance at 2 a.m. between reruns of Cops and your questionable life choices. The other general whispers lager truths from a renovated Renton jail cell. We read and drink everything we receive, and we try to respond as fast as we can, if not online, then on air. Probably while we're sipping a Kolsch so fresh it still thinks in German. You can subscribe to Grit and Grain on Amazon, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, and iHeartRadio and Stitcher. And please leave us a review. Also check us out on channel253.org and gritandgrainpodcast.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or wherever algorithms still allow joy for episode notes, beer news, and whatever metaphysical ripple was unleashed the moment someone looked at a defunct Renton jail cell and thought, this is the place. This is where we shall lager. Because sometimes fate isn't a lightning bolt or a dream. It's a municipal holding cell with good bones and tragic fluorescent lighting, patiently waiting to be reborn into a cathedral of fermentation and familial stubbornness. And of course, they named it Four Generals, not after power, but purity. Not after rank, but recipe. Water, malt, hops, and yeast. 4 sacred generals marching in lockstep towards medal-winning stillness. So follow us, because somewhere in the symphony of old bricks, barley, and accidental holiness, you just might taste what redemption really tastes like, clean, cold, and tapped at precisely the right PSI. If this podcast is not what you expected, please alter your expectations. Why did the Rausch Dunkel get kicked out of therapy? Because every time it opened up, the room filled with smoke and flashbacks to a sausage festival in Bamberg where 2 sousaphones had to be decommissioned due to aggressive umami notes. No such thing as a bad time to visit Tacoma. No such thing as too much barley wine, especially after it's lagered. Tune in next Friday for more sweet chatter. Cheers.
Cheers.
Prosit.
Thanks, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us at Grit and Grain Podcast wherever you get your social media and catch new episodes every Friday. Cheers.
Good up.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you. Grit and Grain is part of the Channel 253 podcast network. Check out our other shows: Nerd Farmer, Move to Tacoma, Interchangeable White Ladies, What Say You, Citizen Tacoma, and Kitchen 253.
This is Channel 253.